Hello, people. I want to talk about a topic, and I want to start by asking the black people in the world, have you ever heard a white person ever say to you that you're playing the race card? If you have, then that's the topic of the discussion that I'm going to have today. Whenever I hear a white person say that, it sounds very offensive and very insensitive and very dismissive at best. I never understood how is that a white person living in America, being the majority and being, in places, being in power in this country, how is that they're able to discern whether or not racism, the perceived racism that the person is talking about, is whether it's true or not. And being that they've never had a problem with being oppressed and being victims of discrimination and being discriminated against, racism, how is it that they're able to make that distinction, whether or not this person is actually telling the truth or not? So it really comes off as just basically just being insensitive. I mean, it's just pretty much just to dismiss the person, and basically not to validate their claim. And that in itself is also too ridiculous, because it also assumes that white people are only ones that can validate racism. If any other black person or any other person of color makes a claim about discrimination based on their race and their skin color, it's always white people that jump out and first of all say, just deny it and say the person is playing the race card, or it's like it seems like they're the only ones that can validate it, which doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it that they're the only ones that get to say, well, you know what, yeah, that's true, yeah, that person is being discriminated against based on their color, which is pretty rare to non-existent, because most of the time I haven't really heard of any white person actually saying, well, yeah, it's true, this person is being, probably did happen if they've heard it from somebody or on the news. Every time I hear a white person speak about it, it's always, they always play the denial card, so, it's funny how, but anyway, so basically, you typically hear that a lot. And also regards to the whole racism thing, But anyway, let me get back on topic, and I want to read an article to you. I mean, I write small articles, I'm a writer, and I read other articles as well, and I read a lot of books and read a lot of literature and stuff. So I write about a lot of social issues too. So, you may want to rate, comment, subscribe, because I'm going to have a whole lot of articles that I'm going to read coming down the pipeline as well, from other authors and me as well. Some of them won't be mine, some of them will be mine, and I want you to comment on them. So I'm going to read this article to you, and I want you to give me your feedback. Now, before I read it, I want to put a disclaimer out. When I talk about white people, I'm not talking about all white people. When I say white people, I mean the racial group. That's what I mean. So I don't want people to say, well, wait a minute, it's not all white people. Trust me, that's not what I mean. So I'm just want to put a disclaimer out there. So here's the article. Crying racism. Crying racism is the idea among white Americans that blacks see racism in every little thing, that they are looking for cases of racism. The phrase is supposed to remind you of the story of the boy who cried wolf. Blacks are seen as whining, as being oversensitive, as having a chip on their shoulders, as blowing things out of proportion, as playing the race card. What is going on here is the opposite of what it seems. It is whites who are being oversensitive. You are challenging their colorblind image of themselves. You are shaming them, so they are trying to shame you back. To shut you up because they do not want to hear it. To discredit you so they do not have to admit they are racist. They have made racist into such a dirty word among themselves that it is like calling them a liar. It has gone from being a description of certain kinds of acts, of lines crossed and mistakes made, to questioning their whole character, which they must then defend. That is why they do not want to admit to racism even when it's staring them in the face. That is why their apologies come out so half-baked, because they do not want to admit to being racist in the first place. To them, racism is rare, something from the bad old days that have died out. But it did not die out. It just changed shape, from a hatred to a smugness and contempt that is covered under a thick layer of politically correct words. They cannot see through their own lying words, or do not want to. Crying racism assumes that racism is rare. If you're a white, it is rare. So rare that it seems like blacks are just making it up. It is hard to believe in something you have never experienced, much less understand it. Yet despite their lack of experience, despite their lack of understanding, despite their wanting to read events in a way that avoids seeing racism and admitting to it, despite all that, they still think they are the best judges of when something is racist. That is what the word oversensitive assumes. That makes no kind of sense. But they notice none of this, because they do not want to notice it, because they talk mainly to just other white people, because they have created a vast talking machine of newspapers, blogs, cable news, and talk radio that repeats their self-serving white point of view over and over again. Blacks appear on their stage only as complainers, and not, say, as hosts of news shows who can frame issues and report the facts they think are important, hoping to keep the reporting of others honest. Because of this, the injustices that blacks talk about appear unimportant, and because only blacks see them, they are merely perceived injustices, just black people crying racism. So that's the end of that article. And this is what I'm talking about, and this is what I want to get feedback from black people, white people, Native Americans, Asians, and Latinos. I want to get everybody's feedback on this. And you know, I just want to put another disclaimer out and let people know, listen, I don't want to argue with people. I'm not on here for that. I'm an intellectual, and I want to have an intellectual conversation with people. I want to open up a dialogue. I want to provoke thought. I don't want to have to deal with people commenting and you know posting racial slurs through video response or commenting. I won't even respond to that. I'm just letting you know. I won't respond to it. If I see it, I'll just delete the comments. I want to provoke a healthy discussion. And if you don't agree with me, then I can agree to disagree. I'm not on here to fuss with people. It doesn't bother me if you don't agree with me. I'm not going to lose any sleep at night because you disagree with me. And you know, and that's it. And you know, when people kind of say, like, you know, sometimes I hear people on other videos say, well, you know, I'm going to say this, and if I offend you, then I don't give a F. You know, I cannot stand that statement, because it's like, I do care. You know what I mean? I do care, and that's why I'm posting this video. And I do have a certain level of general respect for people, even though I don't get respect from people that don't know me. I normally tend to give people a decent amount of respect, and you will never hear me say that in my videos. You know, I just think it's a very ignorant thing to say, and to start off a video by saying, well, if you don't like what I got to say, I don't give a damn. You know, that just really I really don't even like the way that sounds, you know, when you're trying to open up a dialogue with people. So I will never say that. I value other people's opinion, whether I disagree with it or not. And to dismiss somebody's opinion is like, well, why even talk? Why even bother talking to me? If you're just going to say, well, I don't care what you say. If you don't like it, then F you. You know, and you're like this, and that's just ridiculous. I don't even got time for that nonsense. So, so basically, if you post, you know, on here, you're not going to get in, you know, me trying to sit up here and rant. I don't rant either. That's something that I don't like, when people just get on videos and just rant. You know, I don't cuss on my videos. You don't want to hear me cussing. I really feel when you're cussing all the time in your video, every other word come out of your mouth is a cuss word, that really says a lot about your intelligence. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to judge anybody, but it really makes you really look unintelligent when you constantly cuss in your videos. So I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to just talk to people. I want people to talk to me. If you disagree with me, fine. And if you disagree, tell me why. You know, and that's, you know, I just want to have a healthy discussion. And we don't talk enough about race. Talk about race. We argue about race a lot. We fight about it. We insult each other about race a lot. There's plenty of that going on you know, on YouTube. But I never hear anybody have a frank discussion about it. You know, open a dialogue about it. You know, healthy discussions. No arguing, no fussing, no fighting. You know, hey, it's no problem if you want to debate. There's no problem. But you know, nothing, you know, malicious. None of that nonsense. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and if you want to rate, comment, subscribe, do that. I have a lot of videos coming down the pipeline, so I want, you know, people to to subscribe, because I really have a lot of stuff to say. I'm going to read a lot of other articles as well, and I want to get your feedback on that as well. So again, definitely do a comment. A video response would be preferable, but if you don't want to get on camera, you could even have a comment. I'm looking forward to talking to you. See you.